Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 14. The Genesis Fallout, analysing the impact of bankruptcy on cryptocurrency. You got me, Ash, you got Pinky in the hot seat, and we've also got Gaz as well. So a little bit different to normal. I say normal. We're going to have a mobster in the hot seat every single time. So yeah, that'll be good fun. But as normal, we've got Gaz, Director of Learning Crypto, who will be able to offer his insight. But we have got Pinky, who... first question I should really ask him is, how long have you been around learning crypto? Because you've been around a bit now.
He's been sniffing around for a while.
Must have been from September 2000, I think. 2001?
2000?
I think it was 2001, actually.
Been around a long time.
Yeah.
2020.
And you've only just got me on.
Oh, God. But yeah, quite a while. So first cycle, first bull cycle, first bear cycle, essentially. So not bad, but I imagine this topic in terms of bankruptcies and everything is like perfect for you because you've probably witnessed it all in your short period of time, unlike some people. I'm not going to mention any names. Some new influences on the block. But overall, we have got to talk about the obvious, which is bankruptcy, the Genesis fallout, all the companies that have gone wrong, a lot of them. But hopefully we all have experiences, which we do, of previous cycle bankruptcies like Gaz's and myself. So yeah, it could be fun. I'll let Gaz take over with some information from the previous cycle before we move on to what's happened this cycle, which could be a long read of my screen to the left-hand side.
Well, obviously none of us have been in crypto as long as Pinky, but those of us who have been in a while might have got caught up in Cryptopia, which I certainly did. Was that back in, I think, early 2019? That was my first experience of scam / exchange going bust, losing access to funds, etc. And it was a pretty scary experience. It was very, very unlucky as well. Whether people believe this or not, this is genuinely what happened. I deposited a fairly sizable amount of funds on the website, and then literally the following morning went to log in, couldn't log in. I was like, oh, that's quite annoying, mild inconvenience. And I've never been able to log in since. So that sucked. It's going through the legal process of getting it went into liquidation. Grant Thornton are going through it now. But I think I will eventually get my funds back. It will probably take another year. It's already been, 3, probably coming up to 4 years already. It's not a nice situation to be in. Fortunately, obviously, we've been through an entire cycle since then. So that money is no longer as significant as it was to me at the time. But yeah, definitely been through it. I wish I had a t-shirt, but I don't even have that. So I've got the mental scars. But yeah, so when we sort of laugh and make light of things that have happened, it's not because we've been able to avoid all of the mines, so to speak. We've been through some pretty bad experiences ourselves. So yeah.
I remember Cryptopia really well. I remember because I used to use it, but I never had any funds on it. And I don't remember the FUD about it. I just remembered one day it was up, and then the next minute it was access denied, sort of shit all over it. You couldn't get in. And I thought that was weird. And as you say, it was a year after well, I don't even think it was a year. It was kind of a year-ish after the cycle pop of that 2018 kind of top. It just came out of nowhere. And oddly, it was one of the only exchanges that went bust that year, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember any exchanges.
So it was quite, I can't think of the word, but sort of out of the ordinary, as opposed to now. Exchanges seem to be going down left, right and centre. But at the time, it was quite a bizarre experience.
No, I don't
remember another exchange apart from, obviously, what was the one back in the day, the original one?
Mt. Gox,
yeah. Apart from that, I hadn't really heard of any other exchange going down. So, yeah, rough one, but it's what it is.
Weekly.
Say again?
It's weekly.
Yeah, no, legit. The last year has been crazy. It's been like a minefield. trying to navigate the past 12 months. As we said on the last podcast, like a lot of people have lost money, not just through price devaluation, but then all the things that have been blowing up left, right, and centre. It's been like a gauntlet the past year, trying to avoid not getting blown up by various, like either exchanges or scams, rug pulls, things going broke, like UST, Luna, and stuff. It's been mental. Even like crypto cycles are pretty mental by themselves, but this one has been particularly crazy.
It has been savage, but luckily, I think most people, that at least who I know, have came out almost unscathed, which is good. But I also think it depends on what people are promoting as well. Like, obviously, nothing's going to be like bulletproof. I've said it I said it a few weeks ago. I'll say it again now. Crypto is great until it's not. That's kind of the ultimate motto. I think it should be. It's all going tickety-boo, and then all of a sudden the wheels come off. It's like, oh, shit. So in terms of what I've got here, I've got a list of all the companies, but I want to read that basically the whole point of this video was due to Genesis going the next one. And I've got a load of bollocks on the screen basically saying that the company plans to use bankruptcy to try and sell assets, raise money with creditors for potentially owing and reorganizing the business to essentially get themselves out of shit. It's looking very, very unlikely. So this will obviously mean selling assets, selling certain things to get cash, to be liquid, to then pay off said things. So what's basically happened, due to FTX going shit-shaped, we have the problem that they are obviously lending money to places and they've no longer got the capital and they cannot pay it off, and hence why they've got no money. So in terms of what we've got so far for the course of a 12-month period, we have got 3 Arrow Capital, Celcius Network, Terraform Labs, Terra Luna, Voyager, Course Scientific, Babel Finance, Hodlanor, Genesis, BlockFi, ZipMex, and FTX. And I've also put a little disclaimer: Freeway should be on this list because they're the obvious Ponzi scheme out of all of them, which haven't declared it yet, but they have definitely stopped withdrawals and no one can get on the website. Go figure.
Yeah, shady.
Shady as hell. But yeah, in terms of all this, right, so Celcius is a pretty popular one. Voyager was a popular one. Obviously, Terra Luna. Now, I was an investor in Voyager back before it all kicked off. I was, because they rebranded into something else, I was like, oh, this is great. I made a lot of money on it. Great, lovely. But as always, I think Binance have bought them out now. I can't remember, but
they're trying to. But there's a lot of regulatory stuff from the US because they want Binance to be a little bit more transparent.
Yeah, let's not mention the B word, just in case. Don't want to create any FUD, but you know, Binance isn't the squeakiest clean monster in the space. But in terms of all that, let's talk about certain things, because Celcius is a one that I've always thought was a bit dodgy. Always thought it was dodgy. For obvious reasons, they were doing really, really generous referral schemes back in the day on Facebook and stuff. It was chaos. Obviously, BlockFi, I was a affiliate of BlockFi. Went wrong, didn't it? I pulled out pretty early before it all went wrong because there was some little disputes with pay. I didn't get paid for 4 months for a period, which is quite shit. But reality is they've obviously gone down the tubes because of FTX and overlending and borrowing. That was mainly stemmed from the first one, which was 3 Arrow Capital, which was the first one to fall. And I think, if I read this right or seen this right, the 2 people that founded that are now trying to make a new exchange called GTX.
Yeah.
Oh, this space. So yeah, if anyone's wondering, let's try again. Let's try not to blow up everyone, and let's just be okay. But yeah, if anyone's wondering why I'm doing less crypto videos, it's because I'm sick of the space. It's a bit shit because of all these scammers in it. So it's awful, but it is what it is. But the likes of Freeway offering 43% interest is chaos, and yeah, it's bad. But I think Pinky can talk a little bit about UST to give you. I've made you not sweat as much from the start of the podcast, so you can get involved now. Obviously, UST, go on.
Oh, it was great when it was there, wasn't it? Earning all that money. Yeah, the old story. But I remember it was in the old Telegram group we had, and I think it was Mo or someone saying about SD pegging, and typically I'm on a night out with everyone. So I'm sitting there watching the back, sitting there, just everyone's enjoying themselves. A few drinks and I'm sat there on my phone just watching this thing go from 99 98,
like a meme.
96. It was, I
It
can't
is a
enjoy
meme.
yourself. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm sitting there, just sitting there. Oh, I've got to go home. I've got to go. I was out with my partner as well, and she's like, we ain't going anywhere. We don't go out much anymore. We've got a kid and all that. I was like, oh, I've got to go. It's like, you're not spoiling one of our only nights out. I was sat there in the corner, and eventually I see it come back up and thought, oh, right, I'll leave it. I'll leave it to the morning at least. And I think out of all the crypto transactions I've had to do of moving money and funds, that was the hardest one with a hangover and a gut-wrenching feeling of moving this money across and just hoping it'd be staying safe. It's terrible. So I ain't really got involved in that rubbish anymore. I tend to stay away from it now.
Same.
I'd rather leave them.
Was yours linked up to a ledger wallet?
That was the problem. It was a ledger wallet with me trying to be safe. It's like I might get one of them chains around my neck that I've seen people wear with a ledger on it and just
slip to the toilet.
Yeah, laptop in my pocket somehow. It's terrible. It's horrible. So to go for people going through it, you say we've all been there, we've all done it. Might come across we're taking a mick, but lucky enough, a lot we get out earlier. Whether that's being part of a group that we've got, trading this sort of investing is lonely. So having a part of the group we've got, it helps massively.
Does, yeah.
I've always said it's the biggest aspect because trading and investing is such a lonely game. I don't know how people did it back before we had such easy communication, not being in a group. I've always said it. If it weren't for learning crypto, I'd have given up in 2018.
Because it would have been if you had no funds.
Yeah, exactly. Because I literally had to start all over again, and without having that group of people to talk to or to learn from and share the experiences with, it's a very lonely existence.
I probably just took the piss out of it because you bought the top, then you lost all your funds and you had nothing. So I was like,
right, we don't have to go back over this again, do we?
But now he's director, so it just goes to show how far he's come.
we don't have to relive my worst moments. I've already had to drag myself through the Cryptopia mental scars again. Now you drag me through 2018. Come on.
It's got your counsellor on fucking speed dial. Jesus. But no, it is shit, and we've all been through it. As much as the image that people portray on social media is, oh, we can live through this and it's fine, but people don't show their losses. I quite happily show all my losses. I'm like, fuck it, I get caught, I get stopped out, whatever happens. But the worst one is obviously losing money. No one wants to lose money, especially when it's not fault of your own. That's a problem. We are trusting people with your funds, and this is why ledgers are important. This is why education is important. But at the same time, though, nothing's bulletproof. All the stuff that people can talk about, even tomorrow, could go wrong. I love Bybit. I like using Binance as well. All these other exchanges out there that are really good today, like Coinbase, etc., they could be absolutely nothing in 12 months' time. You just don't know, and that's a scary, scary thought, which is why you've always got to think first, have your safety kind of situation in place, and then just go for it. But it's like anything. You just don't know what's going to happen. You can have your credit card cloned tomorrow by going to a cash machine or whatever. It's you got to think like that. It's crap. But, when we talk about the impact of bankruptcy, we can talk about the obvious, oh, fuck, people's lost their money. Yeah, great. But it's the rest of the space as well. It's not just that. It's people have lost so much money, but they've lost so much trust. How much have people no longer going to come back in? There's amount of people in NFTs now that have probably got nothing because they've been rugged. You've got obviously the bankruptcies of all these lending firms and exchanges, and then you've just got scammers and dickheads and influencers. Not going to mention any names.
It is part and parcel of the journey in a way. Not saying you've got to lose all your money before you can start making your money back.
True.
But it's kind of, you need to be around, you need to hear about it and listen from other people's experiences about it if you're not going to suffer it yourself.
That's something I wanted to ask you, Pinky, because obviously me and Ash went through 2017 and 2018, whereas you joined crypto, 2020?
Well, I had Bitcoin from 2016 on an old blockchain account.
Legit?
Yeah, I used it for the proper reasons. I was buying things off the internet with it.
Careful.
He was buying a bike with Bitcoin.
They had this little online accounts. It sounds even worse. But yeah, look, I checked. I forgot all about it. I had a very small amount in there left over, but that's nothing. And I checked it that summer. It's like, why the hell was that much money? So that's it. You then take the delve into it. How did it become there?
Oh, nice.
Then you start moving it around, thinking, what am I doing? And then you kind of come across people that want to scam you.
Yeah.
And you kind of question it. And then I started buying stuff like Link and Dot with it, with my BTC, my pit. And then I was joining Telegram groups, getting involved. It's like, well, I'm just flipping these 2 tokens around for next to nothing. So I've got to do some research. If I'm going to take it serious, I've got to do some research. So I came across Dot, looked into the founders and that of Gavin Wood, Ethereum. Yeah, okay. Looked at the rankings. Thought, yeah, I'm going to put my money there.
You found Dot before you found Ethereum?
Yeah. No, I found Ethereum and Bitcoin, but they were too high. It's the old too high, not buying that, too high. Look for the next one. And a link with Ethereum and Dot being Gavin Wood. I thought, yeah, have a bit of that. And then I came across one of Ash's videos on YouTube just to find out if it is any good, which a load of people on YouTube, and obviously you're not going to blow his trumpet, but being the honest person. Started following, joined a Telegram group, Learning Crypto, and then went from there. Just kind of steadied my investments a bit more.
Actually, still a dick. What?
You're all right sometimes.
You're right, though. He is honest.
Yeah, no. Very few.
The thing is, right, people don't like it, but tough shit, like, you're dealing with money. Like, if someone's trusting me with the correct information, I want it to be right, and I also want to give people the right advice. If people come to me in my DMs and go, I'm thinking about doing this, is it a right idea? And I'll be like, well, not really. But if it's a good idea, I'll say, yeah. It's like, that's not a bad idea. I'd probably do that myself. And the reality is people want to hear.
Narrative.
Yeah, they want to hear what they want to hear. Like, like today on my Patreon, for example, like someone asked me about a coin. I'm not going to say which one. And I ripped it to bits because I know it's a pump and dump scheme. It's like, well, you probably found it because it's high, because of someone in a high position, inverted commas, i.e. followers, are promoting it. And you've got to be very, very careful. And this is why I want regulation. And I think speeding up regulation is probably going to happen with what's happened this year, last year, with the gazillion bankruptcies that we're talking about, because I think we have to have something in place to stop this sort of shit happening, because you can't get to a point where we get to $3 trillion market cap every single time, and then everything goes fucking boom when the market poos itself 10% because of over leverage. It's like, where do we go from there? We don't. And this is where the problem lies, and it's a massive thing for trust. And obviously, as you say, talking about like obviously cycles and finding out information. If you go on YouTube, it's a minefield, and this is why I want to change my entire brand, which I'm excited to do, to be fair. But I think the damage in the space is, well, I said this last time, right? Going back, sorry, I know I'm waffling, but in 2017 to 2018, it was all tickety-boo, lovely roses, we're all making money, most of us. And then obviously it turned, massively turned. 2019 was savage. It was horrible. 2018 was bad. 2019 was crap. And then we had obviously the COVID crash. And I always used to think, how are we going to get the trust in this space? Because the ICO boom was horrendous. It was like all these people getting really rich on ICOs and they were just losing the money. Even like the influencer market wasn't even there. There was no one really big in the crypto space apart from Superman, but he lost his account. He's got a new one now, though, annoyingly. But there wasn't that many. There was a couple, but not many. So yeah, a bit scary when you think about it, but it's how we evolve, and you're probably seeing it a different market compared to what I first seen, and obviously what Gaz came into as well. So probably a bit different.
What do you think you'll see featuring again? Because that's 70, from the high to the low. That's a 75% drop, or even nearly a 76% drop, and lack of trust.
Well, everyone says on Twitter, don't they? They're like, what did they say? Oh, if it wasn't for Luna, we'd be at 35k. If it wasn't for FTX, we'd be at whatever, stupid. They always say that, but it's all bollocks, really. It's all speculation. And the reality is, there's always an action for a consequence in a way. So, like, if they fucked it, we're going to deal with the consequences. So,
but if it wasn't for their APIs they were offering, $3 trillion never may have come about.
True. Because of the lending. They were able to pay it because of the lending, and they overdid it. And yeah, all went tit-shaped pretty quickly. Whoopsie.
Going back to what you were saying before, Pinky, about you don't have to lose all your money as part of the process, but a lot of people do end up doing that. just saying, so obviously me and Ash went through 2017, made a load of money, and then lost quite a lot of it in 2018. What was your sort of experience through your first bull market? Because like me and Ash were always, like you say, like you need that experience, because me and Ash are always constantly telling people, take profits, take profits, take profits. Things are going to drop. Things are going to drop hard. Like the bear market is going to come eventually. But when you're in that first bull market, you're just like, nah, this could go out forever. You don't know what you're on about. Of course, we're not going to drop. Of course, DOT's not going to go back to $5. Don't be ridiculous.
It's like when you're buying DOT and there's other assets I've got, obviously. I think everyone in the group will know what I've got, kind of, well, not the same, but all kind of the same ballpark. If you just sell a coin you bought for $4.50, goes up to 55 and you're not taking profit because you think it's going to keep going. And there's no, when it's green, there's no matter how many warnings you can get from other people or advice you can get, you're going to keep on going. You need to go through it to think, wow, it went from $4.50 to $5 where you was buying originally back to where it was. You wouldn't think you would buy that again at that price. And then you're chasing it as it comes down as well.
Yeah.
So you're buying the lower highs, and then you're finding yourself in more difficulty. So you're losing profit, then you're losing capital on top of that. But I've said it all along, you need to kind of, in my personal view, I did mind losing the money. Don't get me wrong, what a profit. It'd be nice to be able to put that back into the market now. But it's a lesson learned that you've got to take when it goes up, because it will come back down. It's going to come back down with a crash.
That's the hardest thing, because I'm dealing with that now. Bear market rally, I bought the lows. We're up quite a bit. I took some money off the table, thinking, sweet. But everyone, again, well, not you guys, obviously, but other people on Twitter, like, what are you taking profit for? You can't have made that much money. But you got to think to yourself, right, if this is a top of a bear market rally, I've got no opportunity then to rebuy back low. Like, unless I'm putting fresh capital in, I want to try and keep it fresh. Even if it means going up higher, doesn't mean I've lost. It means I want to gain even more. Like, people forget, like, oh, taking profits isn't taking everything out. It's just taking a bit. Doesn't matter what way it's going. You've just got to be the right side of it. And this is what I mean. Like, you're like, oh, sweet, we're up, keep going. And then it drops, and you're thinking, right, sweet, we're pulled back, it's fine. I'm going to buy. And then you buy the dip that keeps on dipping, and then all of a sudden you're in max drawdown, you're fucked. Yeah. But it is what it is, it's investing. That's why trend analysis is so important. And Gaz has done, like, literally, we was talking about that the other week in terms of, like, he did the same. Was it March time? You were like, bought something a bit too high, and, well, wouldn't say high. You bought the dip that carried on dipping, essentially. Yeah,
it was that rally we had. I think it was like Easter time, like March, April time.
Yeah.
And then we got the retracement because it faked the market out. I went back and looked at it on the weekly.
It deviated.
Like, why did I buy that? And then I looked back. I was like, oh, it's because it looked like it had made a higher high. And then
it was the reason why. It was that was when Terra Luna went pop.
Yeah.
So it's the same principle. I covered it in one of my analysis videos. Figured, right, this is what you want to look for, but you need to wait for the pullback to actually happen, i.e. the support to be found. And what happened was we had the high. Yay. Step 2, though, no, we've just fell down the cliff, didn't we? It was horrible, but yeah, it happens, one of those things.
But then going back to what I said just a minute ago about Pinky, about, learning lessons through your first cycle, I learned from the previous cycle in 2018. I was like, right, we don't hold this now. We don't just hold this to pick back up. And which is why, I took a scratch. But obviously, if I just carried on holding, it would have been a hell of a lot worse. But because no one's going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make bad calls, bad trades. But it's all about being able to have that, being able to just switch your stance, being able to just go, right, no, made a mistake, get out. Because that's risk management. That's capital preservation. And that's so important in a bear market, because people enter bull markets and it's in easy mode. No matter what you buy, it's going to go up. You look like a genius. You can either buy it as it's going up or on the pullbacks. Like, you're going to get yourself out of trouble. Bear markets is when you really see, where you put your skills to the test. And bear markets is just all about that capital preservation.
Everyone's an expert in the bull market.
Yeah. How are you finding this first bear market, Pinky?
To be fair, when we dropped to lower, let's quickly get a chart up. The first bit was hard to take, I'm not going to lie. When you go back to the all-time high of BTC, so everything's going to follow it. If it's going to come back, it's going to come back. It makes a low around January 22. And you see that going back up again, exactly what you're saying about the March time, thinking, oh, yes, out of the woods, because we kind of we hit a bit of support back in August, July 21. You think, all right, okay, it's only a minor dip, but you see it keep on going. You think, I've just got to hold out now. Just got to stay in the market. I've got what I've got. Don't buy anything just yet. and just follow it and just wait and see if we can start flatlining and coming back up, which I thought was going to happen until FTX decided to go, I see it later.
That was a shock.
It was quite a savage bear market last year. Like, obviously we're still in it, but in terms of like, because 2018 had some relief rallies, 2022 had barely anything. It had that April one, and then that was it.
It had very limited.
This is like the second bear market rally we've had.
Yeah, that's why I think everyone's getting the knickers all fucking flustered. It's like, oh, look at this. Like, we're going for it. No, we're not. There's been no new inflow, and this is what I mean. Like, the bigger impact of crypto with bankruptcies is obvious. There's no new capital in because they're probably scared shitless still. It's a bit of a worry, really. And you got to think, well, when is the real money going to come in? And obviously, you've done the right thing in terms of waiting. And even waiting for the flat line before FTX, it's still a good, but much better place to buy than buying every month from from February. I want a dollar cost average. Because some people have that as a plan. Like, I'm just going to buy $1,000, whatever, every single month. Knee bother. Cool. Don't care. Fine if it works for you. But for me, like, in a bear market in crypto, especially with the amount of price movements, it's a freaking silly idea, in my opinion, because it's like, wow, it's like, you can just wait for, you can wait for a simple moving average to move over. You can wait for a certain, I don't know, freaking market structure change. But until you know that, it's obvious, but most people don't know that. I'll say that about YouTubers. If YouTubers did bullish videos on a crossover, they'll probably do all right. But they don't, they do it right at the top. Like, 100% bullish right at the top. You are an idiot.
They're putting up videos now of like, the bottom's in. It's like, do you know what? Even if it is, which I'm not totally convinced, but even if it is, like, you're saying that now, it's already up 40%. Where were you 3 weeks ago? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's easy. It's like me making a video going, Bitcoin top was 69k. Yeah, we know. But why didn't you say that back when it was 69k when it mattered?
But that's kind of what I'm quite happy about. Where I've been picking up the levels, because I was buying back then. Before, I was buying around November. Just increasing bags. I've managed to literally nigh on double, triple, maybe quadruple every bag I had. So now I can start getting my profit that I've lost as we went into the bear, into this. Hopefully, get it back a little bit by bit using bear market rallies. And then when we do eventually bottom, if we do bottom, which we will probably at some point, if not already, I've then got a bit more capital now to go, right, I know what I'm doing. I'm calmer. I'm more relaxed. I'm ready.
Your second cycle is a different game to your first cycle.
The only thing I'm worried about my second cycle is taking too early. So I've got to take partials on the way up.
That's what I did.
Take the whole bag. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I took too early on a few, but profit's profit.
Better to take too early than too late, though.
Yeah. I agree.
The only thing that makes me skeptical that, like, the bottom may not be in. I mean, we might not make new lows, but I still think we revisit where we've been before, just because we've not had that boredom phase that we've had in others.
I think that is coming.
We've not had months and months of just range doing nothing. Like, when you go back and look at all the alt charts, we had that, like, almost 2 years of just flatline, and even BTC, like, months and months of nothing. We haven't had that yet. We've had, it's going lower, and then it's just bounced straight up.
If I was to play Let's Predict the Market, I would love this to retrace back to, like, the halfway point of, like, 18k, whatever, and just flatline and just chill out and relax and see if it ekes out the dicks or the impatient lot, because they will get impatient because there'll be no volatility, and I'll be like, sweet, accumulation zone.
It's strange for me in terms of, like, this last bear market the bear market we're in doesn't feel as though we've experienced enough pain, enough downside. But then I don't know whether my perception is skewed, because obviously 2018 I literally just held all the way. So there's probably some others obviously who have held from the top at 65. It's difficult to be in their shoes to know whether we have actually suffered that pain or not.
That's what I mean. Like, I was the same. So the first cycle, I didn't hold all the way to the bottom, but I held a lot of it. But the one thing that got me more than anything was a COVID crash, because I was literally all in. I was like, yeah, let's go. What? where'd that go? And then obviously it recovered, but I don't know if I did some, but nowhere near enough as I should have. And then you obviously learn from that for obvious reasons, but it is one of those things. It's a bit crazy.
But that recovery is pretty sharp, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah, that was a proper V-shaped recovery. It's chaos, really. But no, my viewpoint might be skewed as well, because as much as for some people it's maximum pain and it's hurting and they've quit, for me it's been a walk in the park, really.
I think it is going to be pretty brutal if we do just fully retrace this move.
Well, I'll be happy with 18 and a half. Retrace 18 and a half, and I might go bearish again. Sorry, bullish. A bit more.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think a retracement has to happen. If not, there's something a bit fishy about this move.
There is some nice levels around 18. 18 and a half.
He is. He is. We do have some random questions from some of the community, by the way.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Which could be some really interesting talking points, especially the first one. So Ellis has asked, where's a safe place to store your ledger?
Funny thing, when it's directed at. There's a myth where my ledger is kept. I can't give it away in case it gets stolen. And I've got to put up posters trying to find something that's lost. It's got to be a safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And your password.
Dad bought a safe, didn't you? And then look what happened. You just throw it on the bed and it pops open.
Works, though.
I remember that.
As long as someone finds it, it's all right.
Fucking hell, I chucked it on the bed and it opened. What the fuck?
I've got a new one now anyway, so that's all right.
Yeah, I've got like a safe and fireproof, bomb-proof folders that should hopefully work, but well, we'll see.
And
I'm not set yet.
And your keys have got to be stored in a different location.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, how many people do that?
Not many. Well, I definitely don't.
It's not next to the ledge, you put it that way.
Nah, just to the side of it.
Upside down.
Yeah.
Inside the safe. Oh, shit.
This is not what you think it is.
Yeah. Other question. So this one's from Pete. With this market pump, have I missed the boat? Question mark.
No. We'll get a pullback at some point. And then that's probably when you want to be adding to any bags that feel a little underweighted. But you got to be careful, because you don't want to go and do what, as we talked about before, what I went and did in the summer, where you go, oh, this is the pullback, you go for it. And then it turns out to, as we've alluded to, it may just retrace the whole move. So be sensible, risk management. We will eventually get a pullback. Nothing goes straight up. In the same way, nothing goes straight down.
Until this one goes straight up to like 50k and gets everyone.
Well, I mean, to be fair, maybe we push all the way up to like 25, 30k before a decent pullback.
That will hurt.
The trouble is with that, where you don't, in terms of like technical structure, when you're just going up in straight lines, you're not creating those levels. So when you come back down, you're essentially just falling straight through. It's like building a house on sand.
That's why it's so hard to trade at the moment. Because that's why it's so hard to trade at the moment. Because this is going up, and you're waiting. Yeah. You're relying on certain things as your TA now, i.e. a fib or something like that, to kind of say, right, where's my level going to be? Where's my level going to be?
That's one good thing, though. Like, when you think about it, we've had the volatility to push through. It's now the second step. If we get that pullback into that spot, it's like, yes, we can trade this, but the last 6-7 weeks, it's been pretty shit before this time, obviously. So from November to 1st of January, let's just say, not been ideal.
No trend, was there?
No, there was nothing.
And now it's just straight line. It's just like
it's straight up.
Great.
Bears wrecked.
Yeah.
People are asking you, like, is the bottom in? Do you think the bottom's in? Excuse me. Is the bottom in? Is the bottom in? It's like, I don't think so. But it's got to be.
That's why I did that video on my live yesterday on my channel. I was like, right, I want to do a bottom in one. And I did the poll, and I think it was like 61% of people think it's not in. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Obviously, that's a good factor. But the probability on my side is I think the bottom is getting more and more likely to be in if there's an obvious pullback and a support level found, because then that's what you want. But it doesn't take much to drop another 20%. It's like, wait for the next thing to go bankrupt. Oopsie. Shit. Could be fun.
Yeah.
And we have one more question. What coin/project isn't good/great now, but could be if something very minor was changed or fixed?
Well, Celcius are bringing a new coin out, aren't they?
Oh, God. A little bit of a liquidity grab just to pay off some of the creditors and debtors, or whatever it's called. But that's quite a hard one because I can't think of many projects that... Wow, there's a lot of good projects, but there's a lot of shit ones that'll probably remain crap. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Tron would be a good one if they remove the founder.
Tron's still going strong. Love Tron. Tron reminds me of simpler times.
Tron reminds me of a Disney movie.
I do like using it to move funds.
Yeah, Tron's great for moving funds. I love that. Moving USDT using Tron. Love that.
I don't know, yeah. I've only used it once and I was scared in case Justin nicked all my money.
Wow. In other news, the S&P has literally fully recovered its retracement today.
I'm looking at my dot trade thinking I've got wet feet right now.
That is a mental whip.
That's another thing as well we could touch on, because all three of us in the same trade on different, well, two of us on different levels compared to one. Actually, short, me and Gaz being long.
I'm actually swimming. I'm not drinking out of this bottle. I'm fucking putting water in it. I'm swimming out my back teeth right now because I'm underwater. But never mind.
But when you mentioned it, I was underwater and I had the flippers on.
Yeah, we've been underwater all day. We've just come up for air. It's your turn now.
My stop loss is really tight. I think it's pretty close. It is a very, very tight stop loss because I was like, I'm not trusting the market. The reason why I entered it was because there's signs of a little bit of rejection last night. I think, hello. But it might just, my luck, it'll hit like my stop loss and it'll just roll over. It's like, you asshole. But we'll see.
It's funny because in your analysis, you said that low risk because it's in like a potential bounce zone, which is ironic because that's exactly why I've gone in as a long. But it's a nice example, like especially for the community. It's like you can have different opinions and people can see the same chart in different ways. Like it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something wrong if you're going the opposite way to someone else.
If you trust it, go with it.
Yeah. And the other big thing is you don't have to launch insults at each other over Twitter just because you're going the different direction.
I know, that, isn't it? The amount of accounts I've had to unfollow.
People do that though.
That's what I hate about Twitter. I just don't see why people can't just get along. Like seriously, like why do you have to fall out over bloody crypto? Like, come on.
I know it's savage, isn't it? It's a bit, it takes away the fun, I suppose. I'm just checking my stop loss, see where it is. Oh no, we're all right.
Did we have the same entry? What was your entry?
16.175.
16? Bloody hell.
Oh, 6. Sorry.
I was going to say, you should be in loads of profit.
Imagine. But no, my analysis was just 618 rejection, but yeah, it could bounce a lot lower from the other 618 from the retracement, which is where I want to go long. So I'm going short a little bit then to go long, essentially. So I thought, let's not be boring. Let's go short first, just because it's been a while since I've shorted. Because I'm a bear, really. I'm a big fuzzy bear.
Big bear at heart.
I like being a bear. It's fun. I like winding people up.
Couple of spot buys on 5, 6, 7, and there's a silly one at 5.11, and there's another silly one, but I won't tell you what that is because that's ridiculously silly.
Oh, my silly bid was at $4 and it went to $4.20 and now it's bounced. So I'm a bit annoyed about that.
$4 as well.
Okay, mine was $3.99.
My idea was that order was going to be my quick deployment bag of like not going to be staked. It's going to be just used as free capital. Twat.
I mean,
we'll front run that.
What are you going to do?
No, nothing. I'm just going to sit there for a bit. If it goes up to like $10, $11, I'll start on staking it.
$10, $11. Do you know that's crazy, isn't it? Because $10, $11 sounds like a big number now. But it was $50 like a year ago.
No. Like if that goes to all-time high levels, I'll be buying Martini's Lamborghini off him. No, I won't be. I'll be buying it and crushing the fucking thing. But Jesus, it was That's because I've like what Pinky says. I've literally used this bear market to like quadruple my bag. It's like, hey, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Going back to what Gaz says about would I still be here if it weren't for the group? Maybe not.
Well, that's the thing about community, and you touched on it before. Like, a community is good in one way, but you need strict rules. Like, back when I first started, it was chaos. Like, people were like trading with each other and second guessing each other and starting to insult people. But now it's a lot better. Like, if you question a trade, cool, but you do it for a learning experience. You don't do it because because you want to be a knob. But some people do. Like, they're like, oh, why are you going long? Because it's like doing something on a 5-minute time frame when you're on the daily time frame. It's like, oh, you're irrelevant, mate. It doesn't matter. But some people just like, they get a bit hard-headed.
We had some characters back in the day.
Oh, mate, the Telegram group was chaos. I can't believe I left that for so long.
It used to be tiny. It was usually like 50 of us or so.
It was 50 of us, but it was like 2,000 messages a day. It was like the biggest group ever. It felt like it, but it wasn't.
No, I mean like in the early days.
There was still a lot of messages, though.
Do you think?
There's still a lot of messages.
I think peak was the like 2021 like people market. That's when it was insane. We had like 3 chats as well. I was like, I can't keep up with this.
We had the public one. We had
VIP.
the normal VIP. Then we had a trading one. There was 2,000 plus messages probably in each group at least. On most of them, oh my god, this is chaos.
I remember complaints about I've come home from work, I've got to go through 2,000. You don't technically go through 2,000 for the messages. A lot of it's just rubbish, to be fair.
Yeah.
Especially when we start talking about like random crap, like what did you buy at Tesco's?